Corporate career responsibility is a call to all experts and consultants to give back their time, skills, knowledge, and expertise to mentor and nurture future industry leaders. Are you passionate in nurturing future industry leaders and professionals who will take enterprise to a higher level? Corporate Career Academy, together with Student TV, is giving you an opportunity to share your knowledge, skills, and mentor students and young professionals.
Thank you, Ward. Thank you, students and professionals. Welcome to Corporate Career Academy, a platform where we endeavor to talk to professionals, students, and all of us to get to understand about different careers, to be able to shape their career line and also become better people. We understand that, as it's said, we live for our children. And again, those who are in the professional world know at one point they leave the industry. They need to mentor some people who will take over the industry. Our aim at Corporate Career Academy is to bring in professionals, to bring in consultants and trainers to be able to let you know what is expected of you. How does this make your career move? What factors to look at your career? Today, we are focusing on a very important topic today. And the topic we are focusing on is academic papers, work, and career. Do academic papers determine who you become? Does your job determine who you become? And what is a career in that matter? For us to get a deeper dive into that, we have today have Rosemary Maina. I've known Rosemary Maina to be one of the most dynamic people I have met in this industry. She does a number of things, and again, she'd also be able to tell you how she was able to turn her from her career, from her training to her career, how she found her passion, and what are the things to look at. Rosemary Mine is a trainer. She's a coach. She coaches all people of all cadres concerning life skills, how to live better, and by giving her information, you are able to learn. She has also worked in the corporate world and worked with big organizations where she has held management level positions. Through her management positions, again, she has been able to mentor people to become better managers. She's now working with the students, teenagers, professionals of all levels, starting from the lower level all the way to C-suite, who we call the executive. And she's able to do coaching, mentorship, and all the training. So, Rosemary, welcome to Corporate Career Academy. Here is where we talk career. It's not a very interesting thing to talk about careers and all that. We chose to take this path. So this is the #1 channel in East and Central Africa that talks about career and nothing much, and the leadership. Thank you very much. And now the question people ask, I'm doing, I know I find students asking me, this course I'm doing, where can I work? Or when students are actually done with college, they usually call me and tell me, I need a job. I ask them which job, and they tell me any job. So today we want just to look at academic papers and say, if I'm doing a course in X, and Y, am I lost? How do I become a better person? How do I make a living out of it? Even if I want to go to employment, entrepreneurship, and how does that course build me? So Rosemary, I'll wish to take this chance to give you room to introduce yourself and probably tell us who you are. Maybe you can give us your career journey, a story about your career journey. Then you take us through the topic. Welcome, and welcome to Corporate Career Academy. We'll have questions we'll be asking questions, so we encourage all of us to type your questions. Type your questions, any question you have, and message you have for us. Also, you can also just let us know what we can improve going forward. Any person you feel can be able to inspire you, we'll be willing to talk to you and see how best we can help. Again, you can also do us a lot of justice by subscribing to the channel and sharing with friends and colleagues so that they can also learn from professionals talking about career. Thank you very much, Rosemary. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much, Livingstone. Of course, I'm glad to be the #1 channel that talks about careers. It's a good thing to get to talk about careers. Like you said, maybe it starts with who I am and how did I get here. Who I am, I always say it depends on where you met me. If, for example, you met me immediately after high school, then you know me as a teacher. So if I'm walking across the street and I hear somebody say teacher, then I know I taught that somebody somewhere after high school. So the first person I was an English teacher after high school. If again, sometime down the line, I meet somebody or somebody talks to me and they call me Daktari, then I also know that's somebody who knows me from somewhere, because my first degree was a Bachelor of Science in Nursing. So if you call me Daktari, then I know we either interacted in school or we interacted somewhere in a hospital where I was able to attend to you. So that transformed me from being a teacher to Daktari. If I meet somebody on the streets again and they call me Madam, then I know that person met me somewhere in the insurance industry, around a lot around the health insurance industry, because that's where I have worked the longest. So those are the kind of people who call me Madam or anything else close to that. In the latest years, if you find me in a boardroom, then you'll probably be looking at a management consultant. If we met somewhere at Java or we met somewhere at cafe, you'll probably be talking about life coaching or a bit of counseling. And when I sit in this kind of a forum, then I am a career coach, so we'll be talking about career matters. If we meet somewhere where you're talking about an article that I wrote, or I'm telling you about a book I wrote, then that makes me an author. So I am very many things in one. And like you said, that tells you how dynamic a life can be and how dynamic an individual can be if they want to be. And as latest as last week, I met somebody somewhere in the supermarket, and they introduced me as Dr. Hope. So the latest thing I have learned is that I can actually also sell hope. I'm yet to understand how much I should be able to sell that hope for. But it's interesting to know that even people can actually give you a title based on what they see you do. What I'm trying to say with all those things and all those titles that you can give me based on where we meet is the fact that your resume or your CV is not handed to you. It is not handed to you together with your birth certificate. The moment you are born or the moment you come into this world, you get a birth certificate, but you're not given a CV, you're not given a resume. So you create your resume. And the fact that you create your resume, the fact that you create your CV actually means that you can also recreate it. So it is not cast on stone. It is not something that was given to you. You can evolve over time. You can actually be as dynamic as you want to be. It is your flexibility that actually matters. And then that brings me to the kind of people that we have, especially in the school setup or in our college setup. We have quite a number of people. The number of people, of course, the scenario one that you normally get most of the time is that you know people who know what they want, or at least think they know what they want, but they are not in it. Like we say, either COOPs threw them into a faculty that they totally have no interest in, or a course that you totally have no interest in, and that happens. Deep inside, you know you want something else. You're probably in engineering, but you're thinking I wanted to do BCom. You're probably in BA and you're thinking I would have been better off doing BCom. You're in BEd and you're thinking I would have done better probably in engineering. So you're totally feeling you're in the wrong place for one reason or the other. And deep down, you think you know what you want to do. That's probably one of the places most of us were, and that's why we've had to evolve over time. Then you also have this other person who feels that they're in the wrong place, but they're not sure where they're supposed to be. Yes, you're in BEd, but you're so sure you don't become a teacher. You're in BCom, but you're so sure that side of the corporate world is not where you want to be. You're doing engineering, but in your head, you're thinking, I don't want really to do this for the rest of my life. You're doing law, but you're also thinking, I don't want to do this for the rest of my life. So you also have those people who feel they're in the wrong place, but you ask them, then where do you want to be? They are clueless. They just know the heart feels like it's not where it's supposed to be, but they're not sure even where they're supposed to be. Then we also have this other lot that also feels like I'm probably doing what I thought I should do, but I'm told it's not marketable. So we also have that side of people who feel like I actually wanted to do this. I wanted to do this probably economic and sociology, but people are asking me, where will you do that? I wanted to do this community development, but somebody is asking me, where are you going to sell that course, or where are you going to get a job for that? So it creates a lot of commotion in our minds in terms of then after all this, what do I become? Like you mentioned it clearly, living soon. There are people who are really wondering, am I in the right place? Or some people who feel I'm in the wrong place, I don't want to be here. And you have people who think, I think I'm in the right place, but then I don't know where I'm going to get a job with this. And then eventually you become the kind of person who is looking for any job that can actually be found. The most interesting thing that I find is that if I may look at the class in my undergraduate class that I graduated with the Bachelor of Science in Nursing, from a class of around 40 people, only one person who is probably working within a hospital setup or literally doing the clinical work, which is what we were supposed to have been doing. What happens to the other lot of around 39 people? They're actually not jobless. They all have jobs. So we have people who are in the research space, we have people who are in teaching space, we have people who are in the insurance sector, we have people who are in humanitarian work. So we have people in all sorts of places. And of course, we have these other kind of people like us who are in the consultancy space. And people have also gone ahead and dealt with their passions as as wide as catering and others in the health and fitness, running gyms. So we have people all across the space because either they followed their passion or they figured out where they wanted to become. And that brings me to the first point of all those categories of people. Whether you think you're in the wrong course, whether you think you're in the right course but you don't know what you're going to do with it, or whether you think the course you're doing is not marketable. The first thing you want to ask yourself is, what are your options? What options do you have within the course that you're doing right now? Whether you are doing BSc, you are doing BA, you are doing engineering, you are doing law, you are doing accounting, you are doing BCom, you're in the medicine world, whatever you are doing, what are your options? Because the one mistake that we make is imagining that you only have one option in life. You imagine that if you did BEd, that you have to become a teacher. Imagine because you did law, you have to appear in a court of law somewhere to defend some case. Imagine because you did this kind of mechanical engineering, then you have to literally work in that space. And that is the biggest mistake that you'll ever make. So the first thing you need to do is to open up your mind and know how many options that you have. How do you know what options that you have? You only get to know the kind of options that you have if you learn from the people who have gone ahead of you. For my people in my class to know that they could actually work in research, that they could work with NGOs, that they could actually be tutors or lecturers, that they could even fit in any other spaces that we had never thought of, is because they were able to talk to the people who had gone before or ahead of them. So the one thing you need to be able to do is ask yourself, the course that I am doing, how many people do I know that have done this course and have gone ahead of me? So you want to look for people, at least 5 people. You need to know at least 5 people who did the course that you are doing and are ahead of you by at least 5 years or more. What that means is that you can actually be able to look at those people and ask them, where do you work? What kind of industry are you in? Don't even ask the job itself. Because again, the mistake you make is to ask for the job itself. Ask them, which industry are you in? Are you in tourism? Are you in banking and finance? Are you in construction and real estate? What industry are you in? Are you in hospitality? Are you in healthcare? What industry are you in? That is the first clue that you're going to get. That with this course that I'm doing, with the BA that I'm doing, actually I could somehow land in finance and banking, because you know somebody who did that and are actually there. So look for at least 5 people who did the course that you did, and they are in actually different industries. So you need to know at least 5 industries where your course or where your kind of content that you're learning right now can actually apply. And it's pretty easy, because even if you did BA is actually one of the most rich courses you will ever do. Let me surprise you today. It's one of the most rich courses you're going to do, because it has a variety of places you can actually fit in. It doesn't tie you down like the other technical courses where we felt like if you're in medicine, you're stuck. If you're engineering, you're stuck. If you're in law, you're stuck. And I'm not saying they're stuck. They just don't have as many openings as the BA person might have, because you have a sociology in there, you have a statistics in there, you have anthropology in there, you have psychology in there, you have a lot of things that can actually apply in different places. What you may be lacking is the knowledge. So you need to ask yourself, who has gone ahead of me? Who are these people who did the course that I am doing? And look for at least 5 people in 5 different industries. And that will be your first eye opener, because it's going to make you know that actually there are places your course can be able to fit in. The mistake we normally make is that you are in BA and the person who is telling you that your course is not marketable is doing law or engineering. How did he or she even know that BA is not marketable if she did not do that in school? So talk to your kind of people. Talk to the people who have done what you are doing, because they have the information and they know how they navigated through it. So stop listening to people who are in a totally different field, who has no idea what you even did in class. Talk to people who have done what you are doing, because they are better placed to give you better information. So look for your kind of people and listen to them. Before you start thinking that course is not marketable, before you start thinking you're in the wrong course, first ask yourself, what are the options? Because you could be doing a course that you think you're supposed to be stuck in one place, then you realize there are so many other openings that you could actually be able to utilize that knowledge, and you realize you're actually not as stuck as you thought you are. Because I have seen people who did BEd or BA, I'm sure Livingstone will tell you he has enough of them in the insurance industry. They are doing product development, some are doing sales, some are doing operations, and they're doing a great job at it. It is just about how open-minded you are and how clear you are in your mind in the direction that you want to take. You're only going to get that clarity if you talk to the people who have gone ahead of you. So look for 5 people in 5 different industries and figure out what are these industries that they are in that your course can actually be able to fit in. Once you have figured out those 5 industries, then narrow it down to what companies are in this industry. So that if it's banking and finance, who are these banks and who are these other other financial institutions, the SACCOs and the insurances and all that are within that industry that now I know I can actually be able to fit in. So if for every industry you pick 10 companies, then you realize by the end of it, you will have 50 potential employers. And that's the point you start realizing there are actually employers there who can actually make use of your resources, who can actually make use of your skills if you are keen enough. So talk to the people who have gone ahead of you, figure out 5 industries, and out of each industry, figure out 10 companies that you can actually be able to work in. What that means is that by the end of it, you will have at least 50 companies who are potential employees, that potential employers where you can actually be able to get a job. But once you have figured this out, the next thing that you actually need to figure out, once you have figured out the industry and you have figured out the companies themselves, ask those people that you know, what is your title? Because the other thing we normally don't know is that we have a course. I know I am doing economics and sociology, but when you go to the workplace, there is no position that is called that. You are doing accounting and finance, but in the workplace, there's no position that's called that. So you need to figure out those people who have gone ahead of you, what are those positions called when they get to the workplace? Some start off probably as assistant accountants, they become management accountants, some move into risk management, some become financial analysts. So it's time you start figuring out what those words mean. It's time you start to understand what that means. Because even those who do very specific courses, maybe like those who even did nursing, it's only in a hospital where you become a nurse. And even nurse has very many cadres. In all other institutions, you are called something totally different. If you do not have that knowledge, then you don't even know the direction that you're taking. So those are the 3 things I want you to know. And you're only going to know this if you look for people who have gone ahead of you. You can get these people from an alumni association. That's why alumni are very important. That's why this kind of a forum is also very important, because you get to meet people who have gone ahead of you. And you can also meet them in other forums like LinkedIn. LinkedIn has a lot of search options. Actually, if you just go in there and type Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of some psychology, you'll get a list of people who have done that. It doesn't do you harm. Nobody will charge you for checking out their profile. You can check out their profile and see, where does this person work? Where have they worked in the last 5-10 years? What kind of companies was this person working in? Which industry are these companies in? And what kind of positions was this person holding? It opens up your mind to the kind of work that is out there that fits the course that you are doing right now. So before you think it's not marketable, do your research from the right people. Before you think you're in the wrong career, ask yourself, is there a way you can actually be able to navigate from the course that you're in right now to the next thing that you probably are supposed to be doing? So that's very, very important for you to think in terms of what options are available. Once you figure out those options, and those options sometimes also mean being self-employed, because you might meet somebody who probably did IT and they're now self-employed, they have developed this kind of apps. So you might also start thinking, would I also want maybe to try self-employment? And if you're thinking self-employment, the starting point is now, regardless of which year you are in college or campus. Your starting point is now. What is that app that you want to start off? Start building it now. Start those thoughts right now. Start that coding right now. Because the earlier you start, the better. By the time you finish school, you should have a product to show for it. You can't be saying, I want to be self-employed or I want to be an employer, and you have not started out the thought. You start working on it right now, so that by the time you are clearing school, it is clear in your mind in terms of what you want to do with it. For those people who feel they're in the wrong side of the career, if I may call it that way, and want to navigate to a totally different side, there's something you need to do next. After you have known your options, the next thing you need to do is that you need to fill in your skills gap. Because what you realize is that if you're in law, for example, and want to end up as a journalist, there's probably something you need to do in between. Probably some communication course or some improvement on your communication. There's something you need to do to bridge that gap. It doesn't mean because you're in law or you're engineering, you can't move into journalism. And doesn't mean if you're not able to change that right now when you're in school, you're doomed. You're not doomed. You can always find a way of navigating there. But you have to ask yourself, how do I navigate there? What are the gaps that I need to fill in? My best example as a manager, I always remember, is a lady who once walked in for an interview. That interview was meant for people who are doing customer service. And when she walked in and I opened her papers, something struck me and I thought, girl, you are in the wrong place. Because the moment I opened her file, she had a degree in agroforestry. And in my head, I thought, of all the other people who walked in there, somebody with their right mind, with a whole degree in agroforestry, decided to show up for a customer service interview. Of course, it was our fault because when we advertised, we just asked for graduates. And that was also very sharp on her behalf because the moment she realized these people are just looking for graduates, for all I care, she was a graduate. It doesn't matter a graduate in what. And that is also the kind of boldness that you require. Interview is 60% confidence, 40% content. So the confidence in who you are can actually take you to the next level, irrespective of the kind of papers that you have. Your confidence and your willingness to learn is what counts more. Actually, these days we say employers are not looking for skills. They are looking for attitude. If you have the right attitude, if you show you can actually be able to learn, if you show your willingness to learn, then they can teach you the skills. So we hire for attitude, we train for the skills. So that lady was confident enough to show up in that interview with a degree in agroforestry. But the most important thing was how prepared she was for that interview. She could actually be able to connect some aspects she's learned in agroforestry and connect them in how they can be used in customer service. That is how possible it is to connect two totally different worlds, even in an interview setting, and show people that actually when I went to school, I learned things that I can actually be able to apply to do this job that you are looking for, and I'm the right person for this job. Confidence, being bold, and being creative enough to figure out the things that you learned and how they can apply in the next world. Because she could confidently show that even in that learning in that course, she had learned communication skills, she had learned good interpersonal skills, she had learned etiquette, and she had gone ahead and done a short course in communication because deep down she knew, even all along as she was doing agroforestry, she knew one day I'm going to learn in PR and communications. And she was working it in her head. She was trying to figure out what will I need when I land in that kind of an interview. She had polished her communication, she had polished her presentation, and she had done some short courses that knew would help her land there. As simple as those courses might have been, because she also didn't have the money, she was able to present something. And eventually, we were able to give her the job. And she was able to grow to PR and communications. At that point, I'm sure she totally forgot that she had ever did anything to do with the agroforestry. So it is not you being in the wrong place. It is what you decide to do with that paper. Actually, a degree paper is the list of the things that you will need because it is just a stepping stone. Your first degree is a stepping stone, just like your first job is. Your first job is also a stepping stone because that's where you get to learn what do I like, what don't I like, what direction am I likely to take, where are my interests? Because we also evolve as human beings. We evolve with time. The interests you had at the beginning can actually keep evolving as you go along. So once you get your first job, that's a very good starting point to start figuring out what is my next step. Where are my interests right now? How is the industry unfolding? What is becoming more marketable? So that by the time you're even going back for your master's, you know why you are going back for that master's. Don't just finish your degree and jump back unless you're really sure of the direction your career wants to take. Because your first job gives you that chance to try and figure out where is my life going, where is my career going. Then you can be able to go back to school and reach the person that you want to become. So career path is growth. It's a journey that continues from high school all the way. It really never stops. So just because you feel like you're in the wrong course or you feel like the course is not marketable is not reason enough for you to stop at anything. First need to know your options, like I've said. Then next after that, you need to fill in your gaps. Figure out what gaps do I have in terms of skills or an extra small paper that I can add so that it can help me navigate from this course that I'm doing to the kind of career that I actually want to belong to. And that becomes very, very important. The next thing that is very, very important is that you need to build your skills, your passions. What are you passionate about? You all have some sort of a passion. You all have some sort of a gift that we make good use of. And I know you are in a better generation right now where we are actually embracing your skills. So much so that if you went to your parents probably and told them you want to become a comedian, they might not be as shocked because you have seen enough of them who are making it. So think about the kind of skills that you have and build your skill. Just because it looks like it's a small thing, don't drop it. I always say never drop your gift. Even if you're very passionate about the course you're doing right now, you might be the most passionate lawyer, but you also have a passion in photography, in painting, in drawing, in writing. Do not drop that passion. Grow them together, hand in hand. Do a lot of self-education. The beauty of passion is because you do not struggle to start. If you're passionate or if you're gifted in writing or in comedy or in photography, you start off at a higher level because it's a gift already. But that does not mean you don't need to work at it. For you to be the best at it, you need to work at it. Watch all the YouTube videos that you need to watch to polish it. Read as many articles that you need to be able to polish it. Look out for people who have gone ahead of you that are really good at that thing that you do, and learn as much as you can from them. So do not just drop a gift at the expense of your course, and do not drop your course at the expense of your gift. They both go hand in hand. If I did not go through school and get to a point of learning through undergraduate to masters, my communication or my speaking skill would not be as useful, because then I wouldn't be sitting in this platform. So school helps to develop your gift. If you have gone through school, first of all, you have built networks. The people you are in school with right now, there will be the people who will buy your comedy or your paintings or your photography or any other thing that you do. So school helps to build your gift. It gives you connections. It gives you people who can actually help you polish it. It also helps you grow mentally. It helps you mature and learn communication and interpersonal skills. So we do not go to university or college just for the paper. We also go there to grow up and mature psychologically and emotionally. So stay in school and finish that course, irrespective of how gifted you are on that other side. They are going to help you at some point. And that would explain why you have people who look like they have succeeded now, probably in journalism or in comedy, but they're going back to school to get their degree, because there's something about it. It helps you also fit in a certain class of people. It helps you to be invited to certain kind of forums where you can be able to be the MC or the comedian of the day in some way or the other. In short, what I'm saying, do not drop your gift, because it can become your job one day. It can actually become your business one day. So try to balance both. Do your normal course during the week, and over the weekend, go ahead and do your music, go ahead and do your photography, go ahead and do your painting. The creative world is probably one of the biggest industries we have right now. And I always say the creative world is the biggest employer of today. Why? If you are to throw one gig today, if you are to throw one kind of an event today, the number of people you're going to employ in that one event are very many. Why? Because first you started with an event manager or an event organizer. So you had hired an event organizer who has a lot of people behind him or her. In the same place, you're going to require people to do your photography. You're going to require somebody to do your videography. You're going to require somebody to do catering. You're going to require somebody to do their makeup. You probably have an image consultant. You might need an MC. You might need a comedian. A poet might come in there also to entertain the people. You might need actors. You might need dancers. So in one gig or in one event, you will have given around 20 people jobs, 20 different people doing different things jobs. And that tells you how rich gifts can actually be, because most of those things are not things really people go to college to do, but they are gifts people have. Then they try and enrich them and learn on the job, self-train them through YouTube or other forums, learn from other people, add their creativity to it until they come up with really nice content. So if you have one of those passions or gifts, ranging from painting to catering to event management, to music to makeup, all those things that people don't take seriously, take it seriously, because it's a whole industry by itself, and you will fit in somewhere someday, whether for fun or for the job. Whatever it is for, it will become important one day. So do not drop your gift. Take it hand in hand with whatever it is as a course that you're going to do, because that's very important. As you do that, the fourth thing that you need to do is that you need to build your profile now. Do not wait to build your profile when you finish school. We are always complaining. Employers are asking for experience. Where did we get experience from? What were you doing in school for 4 years? Going to class and then going to the hostel and then going to mess or whatever you call it these days to eat, and your whole around is done. That is why we have first class honors without jobs, because the only thing they did was to struggle to get that first class. They left class, they went to the library, they went to the hostel, and then they went to the mess or they cooked in the room, and their work was done. The reason you are there, you're in college at this age, is because you can actually be able to navigate so much. You have a lot of free time to do other things. Look for some work you can do online. These days, you have a lot of online work that you can actually do, whether it is reading for people, whether it is writing, whether it is polishing their writing, whether it is being a virtual assistant in an organization. There's a lot of work you can actually do right now from behind the scenes. Whether it is an organization or a club that you're going to join in school, and be visible, don't just be in a club for the sake of it. Be visible, be a leader, because those are the things you are going to showcase when you are looking for a job. So your profile building starts now. Your CV building starts now. From the moment you hit first year, you start building it at that point. And I always say, if the only thing you're going to walk out with from a college or a university is just a degree paper, that is an injustice to your life, because all the other millions of people also walked out with that paper. What upper hand do you have if that is the only thing that you get to walk out with? If you want to have an upper hand, look for something extra that you can do. Look for a leadership role, belong to a club, volunteer to do some work, work online, do whatever you need to do to add something to your CV. The beauty of it is that as you volunteer or as you look for work to do, you get to also discover what you're good at in that process. And that makes your life easy eventually, because if you start building your content for comedy now, and you start building your content for writing now, and you realize that's what you want to do for the rest of your life, you're at a better place, because the moment you finish school, even if you're going to look for another job, you will not be as stranded and somebody who just walked out with the one paper. Because that one paper you get on graduation day, it is the least you can get. That is like 20% of what you went to get from a university. The other 80% is the relationships that you're going to build. It is the clubs you belong to. It is the leadership roles you're going to take into. It is the volunteer work you're going to take. It is the internships you're going to take. It is any other thing that builds your profile and makes you grow as an individual. And it's also the passions that you're going to realize out of yourself. You just realize you can become a dancer, a musician, whatever else you decide to become. That's the only chance you have to create that and build your profile from that point. So you need to start building your profile at this very particular point. So like I've said, whether you think you're in the wrong course, whether you think your course is not marketable, whether you think you're in the right course but you don't know how to navigate, you have those 4 things to remember. The first thing to remember is that you need to know your options. Where are the people who went ahead of you right now? What industries are they working in? What kind of companies are they working in? What kind of titles do they hold? How did they get there? What that means is, what are your skills gaps? What are the gaps that you need to fill in apart from the paper that the university is going to give you, so that you become more prepared to fit into that role, or become more prepared to shift to the career that you want to shift into? Because again, we're in a global world, we're in an open space where you can easily switch careers. Actually, if there's an easy time to switch careers, it is now, because you just need to do a few online courses and show people, actually, I'm able to bridge and I have the skills that you're looking for, and you can easily navigate to the other side. It is not that hard. Then remember, like I've said, your gifts, your passions could be your lifesaver one day. During this COVID, I'm sure the people will tell you that most people, when there wasn't any real work to do, it is their passion that has kept them going. It is the writing that they had dropped. It is the creating of content that they had never thought about. So your gift can actually become your lifesaver one day. It can turn into a job, or it could turn into an entrepreneurship. So work on it, build it, but don't drop your course. And the 4th thing, remember to build your profile now. It starts now, wherever you are. A degree course is not the only thing you want to put in your CV. You want to be able to put many other things that you did through college. You want to say that you volunteered. You want to say that you're in a leadership role. You want to say that you started off something. Show your initiative. Show your leadership skills. Show your communication. Show your interpersonal skills. Show you can actually be counted on to take initiative to do something. You are not just waiting to get a degree paper. But then somebody mentioned to me the other day, we are being told that most of the courses that we are doing right now, in the next 5 years, they will become obsolete. I will not lie to you and tell you they will not become, because a few years ago when I went to the post office, there used to be very many people working there, waiting for us to drop letters, and then I don't know what they used to do with those letters and then transport them somewhere. Today, I don't even know what happens in a post office. So that tells me most jobs actually went obsolete. Some years back, if you went to a bank, we had a whole line of tellers waiting for you to deposit money, withdraw money, drop your checks. Right now, I can't remember the last time I stepped into a bank, because you have to go there. Really, I don't know what takes people to the bank anymore. I actually don't know, because I can't remember the last time I was there. What that tells you is your course might not become obsolete, but part of it from a work perspective can easily become obsolete. How do you know whether it's going to become obsolete? You just need to ask yourself, what aspects of your course can be easily automated? If the work you're thinking of doing after the course that you're doing right now can be easily automated, it can easily be done by a machine, then believe you me, in the next 5 years, by the time you finish school, that job might be as well be gone. So the kind of job that you probably would be starting off with, especially as a young graduate, like data entry, basic accounting, you might not find it in the next few years, or some, as it is right now, it might not be there. Thinking of it right now, Under normal circumstances, some years back, from the kind of work I do in consultancy and training, I would have needed somebody to do for me basic accounting, to raise for me invoices, to do reconciliations, to follow up those payments, send people emails or reminders, or drop the invoices by hand. As it is right now, I don't need that person. What do? I have a system that I use. All I need is to click in some information, and it automatically gives me an invoice. It automatically sends that invoice by email to the person it needs to go to. It does for me reconciliations. It does for me a statement that shows me how many people owe me how much. And it can also automatically send that statement to the clients themselves, and sends the clients reminders after 30 days that you have a pending invoice that needs to be paid, and that reminder is also coming to my end. In short, I have a system that can do what an assistant accountant can do. So if all you are looking for as an accountant is to go sit somewhere in somebody's organization and start doing reconciliations and raising invoices, your chances of getting a job is becoming this slim, because those things can easily be automated. For those of us with small organizations, SMEs or sole proprietors, we have systems that are actually doing that for you. How much do I pay for that system? Amazingly, $5 in a month. That's less than 600. How much would I need to pay an assistant accountant? A lot of money, 20,000, 40,000. I don't need to pay that much because I have a system that I pay 600 shillings in a month. And that system is able to do for me basic accounting all the way to the end. So you have to think about what are the things that are actually becoming obsolete. A while back, if I needed a book, for example, I would have to go to a bookstore to look for that book, or ask people around, have it shipped. Right now, I have an app where I just need to log in, search for the book by the author or by the title, and I'm going to get the book. I might not download the book, but I can actually read it through the app. And that's all I need. Whether I'm paying for the app or not, sometimes those apps are actually free. So you have to think in terms of, if that is the work you had wanted to do, how do you shift so that you can now become into the world where you are actually useful as a human being? So what we are trying to say is that you need to think in terms of, once you understand what your cost translates to into the workplace, you need to prepare yourself to have the skills to start at a higher level where the machine does not start. Because the basic work that you are giving people, the data entry, the reconciliations in a work environment, it is no longer there. The machine can actually be able to do that for us. We can be able to do so much too. And clients are also enabled. They have apps, they have systems where you tell them to feed information, and the organization can get that information and make use of it. So you want to ask yourself, is the work you are thinking of doing easily automated? If it can be easily automated, then you need to think higher, because you need to start higher than a machine can be able to do. And that also means you have some relevant skills that you need to build. And one of the relevant skills that you need to do is to have data skills. By data skills, what do I mean? For a long time, we thought data is for people who did IT. Believe you me, whether you are a farmer, whether you are a marketer, whether you are a doctor, doesn't matter where you are. Data skills is a must, because everything now is data. For me to tell, for Livingstone to be able to tell how many people are watching this video, what is their age, where do they come from, which university, that is data. He needs to find a way of mining that data and interpreting it. So irrespective of where you are, if you are a farmer, you want to know what I'm farming, when does it do well, who are my kind of customers, where are they found, what kind of seasons, how much do they earn, how much are they able to pay. That is data. So irrespective of what you do, you need to be able to make use of data. Whether you are a doctor, you need to know your patients. How are they performing? When I give them this kind of drug, how are they performing? How does that relate to age? How does that relate to the environment? How does it relate to the money I'm charging them? Can they afford it? What is the average cost of me treating somebody who has a homa, for example? What does that translate into? Can they afford my services? How does that compare to the other doctors within the vicinity? So data is a must. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what course you are taking. Data is a must. I'm actually telling people Excel skills are what Word document was 10 years ago. When we needed everybody to be able to type and send something, that is what Excel skills are right now. So you cannot sit back and think because you know basic Excel, you're okay. No. Data processing, data skills are at very, very important right now. Irrespective of what job you get, you need to be able to mine data and you need to be able to interpret data. So it is time you upgraded your Excel skills. It is time you updated your data skills. Data skills comes next with another skill that is very important, your analytical thinking. Because remember, data is as good as you see it, because it's what you fed into the system. So the system is just going to give you data as it is. Data is not information. Data is just numbers. Numbers that tells you have 10 people from Nairobi who buys your product. You have 5 people from Kisumu who buys your product at this price. That is data. Can you be able to process that information and create something out of it? Can you be able to advise people based on that data? That because you have 10 people from Nairobi who are buying this product and they are within this age, this is the kind of product you can buy for, we can be able to sell to them. And because you have these other people we have not been selling to them, what do we need to do? That is where your creative thinking, your analytical thinking, your problem solving skills come in. So just knowing data is not important. You need to work on your creative thinking, you need to work on your analytical thinking, you need to work on your problem solving skills. As I mentioned this, I know Corporate Career Academy soon will come up with all these courses to train you. So you need to look out for these things as they happen. How well are you able to analyze data and give information out of it? Because data is just numbers. Numbers don't help you if you can't create information, if it can't give you information that you can actually be able to work with. So you need your data skills, but on this other hand, you need your creativity, you need your analytical thinking, you need your problem solving skills to be able to make information out of that data and help people make a decision out of it. That's the only time you become a useful individual. But another skill that is also very important and of the technical world, emotional intelligence. We have very bright people these days. We can get as many A's as we want. We can get as many first class and second class honors as we want. But how well are you able to manage yourself? How well are you able to relate with other people? How well do you take feedback when you're told you are wrong? How well do you accept that I am not good at this and I'm actually going to work on it? How well can you talk to people and influence them to be able to agree to do something without you stepping on their toes? That is leadership. Those are the things we are talking about when we talk about emotional intelligence. That you know yourself very well, you can manage yourself as a good human being, but you can also be able to work around with other people, see things from their perspective, take their feedback, and talk to them in a way you can be able to influence them, solve conflict. Those are the kind of skills the world is also looking at right now. Again, it doesn't matter what course you are in. We have enough doctors in this world, we have enough engineers in this world. So if I'm hiring one, I want somebody who can have a human touch, because we can all now operate machines. But can you do your work with a human touch? Can you be able to relate with people from all walks of life and respect them, irrespective of how learned you think you are? Because that is what emotional intelligence is all about. Again, I know Corporate Academy is coming back with these courses. So these are the things we are looking at as we move into the next world where automation is going to happen. Up your data skills, they need to be up there. Up your creativity, your analytical thinking, your problem solving skills, because that is what is going to beef up your data skills. But also, most importantly, work on your emotional intelligence, because we are done with IQ. We have realized we have very good IQs. But we also have people who don't have very high IQs but are doing very well in the entrepreneur world, or even as average people who work, because the emotional intelligence is a very high level. They know how to work with people. The moment you learn how to work with people, that is emotional intelligence, and it becomes very, very easy for you. So, in short, what I'm trying to say is, irrespective of whether you think you're in the right course or whether you're in the wrong course and you need to navigate and find your way to another one, like some of us did, or you think your course is not marketable, you have work to do. All of you have work to do. You need to figure out what your options are so that you see where you are going to fit in. You need to be able to find out for those people who can help you navigate your way to finding yourself there, which is very, very important. After that, you need to build your skills gap, find out what are the skills that you're missing, the short courses, the general improvement that you need to do to navigate your way through there. Work on your gifts, build your skills. As you build your CV, build your skills as well. They're very, very important. They're going to help you one day. And start building your profile now, because it's very, very important. You, whatever they'll ask you from you as experience is what you build from school. The clubs you joined, the volunteering you did, the attachments you did, the online work you did, all those small things, they count, because you can be able to tell that I had this situation and I was a person who stood up to do something. And that's very, very important. As you do this, realize technology is moving very fast, the world is unfolding very fast, and some roles are becoming obsolete. So as you look at what you want to do next, you want to ask yourself, can it be easily automated? Because if it can be easily automated, like I've said, I don't need an accountant right now. I probably don't. In the near future, we may not need to have HR sitting in the workplace. Probably need somebody who can just manage culture. HR work can be outsourced. You can get somebody to do that as consultancy. Accounting is also probably just going to be more of consultancy rather than employing somebody. So you want to think about it from those lines. What is becoming obsolete and how can I survive? Because if I'm not hiring you as an accountant, maybe you could develop the app or the system that I'm using to raise invoices and to do reconciliation and sell it to me. So instead of coming to me and asking me to give you an accounting job or a HR job, sell me a system or an app that I can actually be able to do that work. That is easier for me because it's also cheaper and you can also be able to sell it to a bigger population. So those people who are thinking self-employment, again, that is the line you want to think about. But again, like you have said, the most important skills you want to build your data skills. Irrespective of the course you're in, irrespective of the job that you do, you will always need data. Data is almost like the currency we are working with right now. From digital marketers to doctors to farmers, we all need data to help us make decisions. So your data skills are very, very important. But remember, data is just numbers. To create information and make decisions out of data, you need creativity, you need analytical thinking, you need problem solving skills. And that you can actually learn, and you need to teach yourself that, because that's the only way you are going to show people that you are actually adding value. You have more value than a machine. Because if you only tell me what a machine can do, then I better pay the machine because it is costing me less to work with the machine. But in every job that you are in, a human touch counts. Even after you have done digital marketing and created nice content online, your emotional intelligence actually helps you to build better content that can relate with people, even if it is just digital content for marketing. If you have emotional intelligence, you know how to connect with people emotionally. So you can write content that they can relate to. But even when you're closing the deal or selling, emotional intelligence becomes very important for you to be a better anything, a better doctor, a better lawyer, a better engineer, a better operations person. Emotional intelligence applies across board. So because you have enough people who are learned, now we need people with emotional intelligence, people who can manage themselves and are willing to grow, and then eventually people who can actually be able to work with other people. So at the end of it all, remember, your resume or your CV is not handed to you together with your birth certificate. You create your resume, and because you create it, you can also recreate it and become whatever it is that you want to become next. Thank you. Back to you, Livingston. You're on mute.
Thank you very much for the wonderful message, Rosemary. I know we have now benefited. Some few things I can pick. Any degree is as important as any other. What you need to do is to know what are your skills, what are your interests. Who are the people ahead of you? Have you been able to know where people who did your course are working? What are they doing? What additional skills do they require? And one thing I've just noted, you have said your career is not handed you with a birth certificate. So once we get a birth certificate, prepare for career by learning from people who are ahead of you. And that's why we are bringing professionals here so that you can also be able to hear their story. Rosemary was a medic. You could have expected her to be in the ward. Now she's here talking about coaching, talking about management and all that. I want to give a shout out to some of the people who have joined us today. Just before we go to questions, I just go for a commercial break, a short one, then we come back with questions. So I'll give some, then we start reading questions. So you can keep your questions coming as we go for a very short break.
Corporate career responsibility is a call to all experts and consultants to give back their time, skills, knowledge, and expertise to mentor and nurture future industry leaders. Are you passionate in nurturing future industry leaders and professionals who will take enterprise to a higher level? Corporate Career Academy, together with Student TV, is giving you an opportunity to share your knowledge, skills, and mentor students and young professionals.
Thank you very much. I'll wish to go to our questions now, but let us appreciate those who are watching us. Rashid Shukran, thank you for watching. Frederick Baraza, thank you very much. Tryphon Olo, thank you very much for watching. Hesbon Maragi, thank you very much for watching, and I will mention your organization as we move on after this. Peter Kedwiwa, thank you for watching. Onchiri Justus, thank you for watching. Mboru Maina, thank you for watching, and you say you are tuned in. Geoffrey Otana, Erastus Kerry, thank you for watching. Rebecca Chieng, Clifford Brian, thank you for watching. Tuned in. Make sure you compensate us on leadership. I was eagerly waiting for it. We'll have our session on leadership next week. Sorry for the mishap, a little bit of it. I want to assure you, Clifford, we'll have that session next week. Then Engineer Sam Guyo, thank you for watching. You're saying you are tuned in. Super Tech Cyber TV, thank you for watching. You are staying at home, thank you. Raymond Momanyi, thank you for watching. Good friend. Nicholas Emerikwa, thank you for watching. Peter Keduiwa, thank you for watching again. Adams Nyanseri, Victor Biwot, Caroline Wamboi Kingori, you are saying you are tuned from UK, University of hey, I don't know this one. Just let me leave it like that. James Nganga, tuned from Kisii University. Thank you for watching. Elastas Kerry from Tharaka University College. Thank you for watching. Nancy Anyona, you are tuned in. Thank you for watching. Harriet Nyaburi from Kabarak University. Thank you for watching. Tuned in from Kibabi, Ivrin Otondi. Thank you for watching. Haron Kimtum, Raymond Ke, Vivian Bochere, Engineer Salim Guyo, you are saying you are following from Mombasa Polytechnic. Thank you for watching. Frida from Nairobi, thank you for watching. David Akama is saying he's watching from my village. Thank you for watching. Then following from Technical University of Kenya, Matty Lady, thank you for watching. Brian Nyagwaya, thank you for watching. Hesbon is asking a question. Apart from teaching, which other field a teacher can work in apart from teaching?
Okay. I think one of the things I love about teachers, maybe I should have done teaching myself, then we switch places with Hesbon. Because I think a teacher is also one person with very, very varied backgrounds. One thing I appreciate with teaching, first of all, is their level of psychology. They might probably not turn out look like real psychologists, but I think teachers learn a lot of psychology because they're people who are able to learn a lot by looking at students. So I've seen them do very well. If they want to up it up with probably an MA in psychology, they make very good psychologists as well. They make very good administrators as well because they seem to be very organized and to learn how to organize things. I've actually come across people who've done BEd as administrators even in law firms. One, because they are very good with probably the language, especially those who have done language, they're pretty good at that. So they make very good administrators. In normal corporate firms, they make very good administrators. Livingstone, I can tell you a number of teachers that I know in the insurance world. Actually, one I know is probably a claims manager, and all they needed to do is a few insurance papers, and they're doing pretty well. One of my favorite bosses was a BEd person who had done, I think, double maths, and he would give people who had done actuarial science a run for their thinking. So they also do pretty well in product development. I know a number of them in pricing. I know a number of them, especially those who did double maths and that kind of stuff. Those who did language, they make very good administrators. So they can actually fit in very many spaces. All they need is to figure out what is your strength, especially depending on the kind of subjects that you did. And then you figure out where can they be able to apply in the corporate space. Then you probably need to do a very short course for you to be able to bridge that space. The ones I know in the insurance industry just probably needed a certificate in insurance, just to understand the concept of insurance. They were good to go. The ones you'll find in probably in these other institutions doing administration, most of them did not need to add anything else. The management they learned in school was as good as it comes. So you just need to figure yourself, where is your interest? Is it in administration or management? Is it in the people side of things? Because then you would do very well in even in HR. Actually, most of the training managers in HR, because in most HR firms or HR departments, they have a training manager. Most of those training managers actually did BEd because you're already a teacher from the beginning. Just need to understand the concepts and build the content itself. So clearly, you have a whole range of things. Are you interested in administration and management? If you're interested in the people side of things, then you can find yourself in HR. You can add a bit of psychology, and then you go full blown into psychology itself. So there are many ways of looking at it. As long as you decide, you will figure out where your interest is, then find a small way and bridge your way there. Hesbon, I hope that helps.
He has another question. Probably you can answer.
Okay, I can see it from my end. In my projection, which skill is going to be on high demand as a country is spearheading the realization of Vision 2030? I think what I find interesting is that apart from us being a country with a Vision 2030, we also have the influence, the global influence, if I may put it that way. So, like I've said, anything technology wise is obviously going to have an upper hand. Technology wise, because now these days everything is an app. It doesn't matter what it is that you're doing, everything has become an app. So, the technology side of things is going to become very important. Like I've said, it doesn't mean you need to change your course, but you need to upgrade yourself. If you're in engineering, you probably need to think in the next future, we are going to have cars that are driving themselves. So the self-driven cars are now going to need a different kind of engineers or mechanics. If you're looking at the space of probably we are now having drones as the new way of collecting information. So we probably need people who are going to start controlling, we'll be calling probably something like drone controllers or even engineers and people who are going to look at them. So we are looking at it in terms of technology side of things. There are two things that are going to keep going: the technology side and the health side. The health side has an advantage to it because as it is, the life expectancy is increasing. People want to live longer. That also means they are taking their health seriously. And that's why you realize now wellness has become a big deal. So the health industry is never going to go down. That I can assure you. It might not pay well here in Kenya, but globally, it is always going to be in high demand as it is today. The technology side of things also is going to be very high demand. For all those other courses, it is the human touch that is going to make a difference. What can you do beyond what the machine can actually do? That is all that is going to matter next. Then I can see Frida is asking, is it wise for one to enroll for master's degree immediately after undergraduate studies? Or someone, okay, I'm not sure what that last sentence means, but at least I can answer the first bit. My personal view has always been, unless you are very, very sure that this course I did is what I want to do to the end, then you can go back. If you even have a 10% doubt, don't. Get to the workplace first. Once you start working, sometimes your interests actually changed. And they change because you're also a different person. What you thought is what you wanted might not be what you want. What you thought was in the workplace may not be what it is. And like again, we have said, because things are also changing very fast. You might do a master's now, and 5 years down the line, you realize it's actually not adding value to you. So if you had waited a bit to clarify your interest and to see the direction the industry is taking, it would have been far much better. You can do some short courses to keep you going and to increase your marketability as you figure out the kind of masters that you want to take. So if you have the chance to wait, please wait. It's going to be more helpful than that. And somebody, Cynthia, is saying most times employers look for people with experience, maybe of 3 years. Can you do jobs which are not related to the career you are pursuing when still in school and add them to your experience? Why not? Actually, remember when I went to look for a first job, the MD said, you have worked very many years. And I had just finished school. Why? Because after high school, I was a teacher for 1.5 years, and I added it there. When I was in campus, I used to train people on first aid during the weekend, and I also added it there. And I think I had volunteered to do some medical work in slums, which I was also doing over the weekend, and I added it to that CV. So it is not that they're asking you should have been working before you went to school or something. Like the way people make it sound very ridiculous. Why are they asking for experience? They're not saying you should have worked. They're just saying you need to show initiative that you are doing something. So even if it is not related to the course that you are doing, work. Because as you work, irrespective of what you do, whether you're printing papers or cleaning the floor, you are learning something. You're learning how to interact with people. You are showing initiative. You can see how a corporate office looks like. In anything you do, you will learn something. You're learning how to pick phone calls. You're learning how to print and scan. Those are skills. So do whatever it needs to be done to show initiative and show it. And when you present yourself for the interview, have the confidence to say that you actually did it. And somebody is asking, in the current competitive job market, what exactly are employer looking to recruit? I will start with the statement that I said. They are looking for attitude, then they train you for the skills. Believe you me, if right now an employer asked for people who are graduates, there are too many. Too many. So whatever you need to always have an extra thing. And like I said, the first extra thing is confidence. Confidence buys you like 50% from the interview panel. The moment you appear confident enough and prepared, you have already bought into their 50%. Anything else extra they are looking for is your attitude. You look like you can work with people. Can you have the humility to be corrected? Can you are you willing to be patient enough to learn before you start running around and showing people how much you know? Are you open-minded? It is actually the soft things that matter most right now, rather than the degree or the first class that you got. So think the soft things, which is what I'm sure Livingstone and Corporate Career is trying to bring you next. So think the soft side of things, attitude, and not so much of the skills. Skills you can actually learn, but you need to show that you have the attitude and you are trainable and you're willing to work around people.
This comment.
Okay.
This is a comment from Raymond. Thank you very much. He's saying a first class is good, but kindly have knowledge attached to it. Work on your attitude and creativity, and as early as first year, learn life as much as possible. We are all gifted differently. And he has unlearned the word life. Life is so much other than papers, yes. So we get from Felix. Maybe you can answer from Felix.
Okay, so Felix is saying, since most of works can be done using computers, is there any need for us advising our siblings to choose them after their Form 4? I'm not sure if I get the question. Most of the work can be done using computers. Is there a need to advise siblings to choose them after Form 4? I'm not sure if I get that question. Whether it is choosing work or choosing courses.
Maybe it's
Timothy,
courses.
I
Probably
would
courses,
clarify.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he's wondering because most courses can be, or most work, or is it that most courses you can learn through computer? Like I can go online and learn how to be a HR, for example, or how to code. That's what I'm wondering if that's what he means. I'm not sure if I really get that question.
Okay. Maybe we can go to another one. If computers, yeah, you can answer that.
Yeah, I think Hesbon is trying to clarify if computers and robots are going to take almost all the job done by human, what else is remaining for us to do as to meet a daily need? But those computers and robots must be given information by somebody. So creativity obviously comes in. That's why I say people who understand the technology world have an upper hand, but they only have an upper hand if they are creative enough to keep building solutions. But again, like I said, as much as computers are doing things, computers are as good as the information that you give it. So each of those jobs will need a human touch. And by a human touch, what do I mean? Like I said, if you're doing digital marketing, you need to create content for you to put it there. It is not the computer that is doing the marketing itself. Somebody has to understand the data, analyze it, realize the kind of people they need to target, and then come feed that information into the machine. After they have fed that information, they need to ask themselves, the people I'm targeting, which language do they understand? Do I put humor? Do I put facts? Do I put quotes? What kind of language do they understand? That is also a human being and who needs to do that. After the sale has gone all the way to the end, somebody needs to close that deal. Somebody needs to talk to the customer at some point. So the human touch will be needed still at some point. Not the point is, it is not the whole process being done by a human being. The technology is doing part of it. The human being is doing part of it. So yes, we have a challenge in terms of maybe a few years ago, technology was doing 30%, human beings was doing 70%. They are saying probably by 2025, we will be almost at 50-50. Technology will be doing 50%, human beings will be doing 50%. So jobs are not, the robot cannot finish all the way to the end. You still need a human touch. The creativity behind what the machine will do, you still need it. And that's why I said your data skills are very important because that is data that you need to feed in. But your analytical skills are much more important because they are going to help you make sense out of that data and create content that are going to be more useful to human beings. So your work will still be there, not as much as it was there before. So forget the normal technical work you are doing. Start thinking higher than that, higher than what a machine can actually be able to do. I can see Mburumaina. Mburumaina says, thanks, Corporate Career Academy, for the speaker. Thank you very much, Mburu, for the appreciation. It was ingenious. I've learned a new word. My question, what do you do to constantly challenge your underlying beliefs and assumptions? Very nice question. Because most of the things we actually have are underlying beliefs and questions. Those things that people actually say some course is not marketable. Those are biases and misconceptions that were fed to us. Somebody told you when you're in class 4, usifanye BA hainanga kazi, and you just bought it. And then you are out here just having those beliefs. The best way to challenge your thinking is to expose yourself to a different world. And what I mean by a different world, read different books, meet different people. Just because you are in this course does not mean you only hang out with those course. Actually, when I go to school, and especially maybe like medical school, and I find people who are in medical school who don't mix with people who do BA, I'm very shocked and I'm very worried. Because when you come to the work environment, you all mix. I've worked with all sorts of people in a corporate sector. You'll have a lawyer seated here, a BCom person seated here, a BEd person seated there. You are all a mix. So if you put yourself in a box, especially in campus, you are likely not to know what happens to the rest of the world. So the easiest way to challenge yourself is to expose yourself to a bigger world. That exposing means you need to interact with people from all courses. If you're in the university, you need to even read books that are beyond your normal space. Read biographies of people who did totally different things than what you do. If you're in BA, read biographies of people who did law and political science. You're going to learn totally different things. It opens up your thinking. It opens the way you view the world. Interact with people from not just from your university, not just from your village, not just from your school. Interact with people from all walks of life. Expose yourself to different movies, different series, different books. Just expose yourself to something that is beyond your normal. That way, you start appreciating differences, and you realize people have just different values. They are not. It's not like some people are superior and others are inferior. No, we just have different values and different cultures, and you can embrace each if you get to understand it. Just expose yourselves. Somebody is asking me a very deep question here. Collins Kisa. Apart from doing extension services from agricultural extension, which other jobs can an extension do? This I might need to give you some homework because I'm not very exposed in this space. But one thing I can assure you, Collins, actually one of the jobs or one of the industry that is growing very fast in the years to come is the agricultural world or agribusiness that we call it. You realize now even the young people have started farming. So what you want to ask yourself now that people are not doing that farming where people had 20 acres or 100 acres, now we have people farming in Nairobi where they have a quarter or an eighth. You have people farming even next to the corridor. How can you use your skills to impact that person who is doing the small farming hapo nje kwake? Those are the things you need to start thinking now because farming has also expounded. It has gone beyond what the things we used to do. So agribusiness is the next big thing actually. So what you need to understand is how is it evolving now that we have urban farmers that we now interact with on YouTube. They sell to us on YouTube and Facebook. Maybe it's time you started also building content that you can sell to farmers on YouTube. It's time you start teaching us farming on YouTube. It's time you started teaching us farming on Facebook because this is where the urban farmers are and giving us information from here and then seeing how can you translate that into cash or into money. So think outside the box. Think technology and remember that agribusiness is the next big thing. You're also probably the next person to help connect the farmer and the consumer. One of the company that is doing very well right now is Trigger Feeds or Trigger Foods. I'm not sure they're called food or feeds. Trigger something. All they do is that they connect the farmer to the consumer or to the market. The person in the kiosk in Nairobi is connected to the person in the village and how they're going to get the small fruits of the burgers that the person is consuming. So think outside the box. That way you can actually be able to work better and get better solutions that are fitting the current world and the future world. Clifford is asking, I am an entrepreneurship student, but here comes a situation where my passion was so much into journalism since my childhood. Which other short courses can I take to fit into journalism? Like I said, I think journalism is one of the easiest way to navigate. Before you even think of a short course, have you tried exercising your skills? You once in a while do a video and see how well you would do as a journalist, by the way. So you start with the small things. Then after that, you can check, and I'm sure you can get even online short courses. Start with basic things like communication, because journalism is much more communication. Start with something as simple as communication. That would be the basic thing. Then exercise your skills with your phone or camera and do short videos and rate yourself. Follow people who do the kind of journalism that you want and see how they do it. The point is to prepare yourself early enough so that the day you will get a chance, you will show up there and tell them, yes, I have a degree in entrepreneurship, but I have also done this thing in communication. These are the samples of the kind of videos I have actually done, and you will show you actually have the information. Actually, there is a place where people work without the right papers. It's in journalism. Most of the people who work in the media industry do not really have the papers. They have the passion. They get the papers later. So it's one of the easiest places you can actually navigate, but you need to do the job. You need to prepare yourself. Get some communication skills, shoot a few videos, get somebody to help you polish them, follow people and see how it is done, polish, 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 then come up with a nice sample that you can actually be able to hand over and showcase your work when that opportunity comes. And knock as many doors as you can. Knock as many doors as you can. Just because one closes does not mean it's done. Out of probably 10 applications you make or 20, only one person will respond, and keep at it until you get there. Passion is actually the best thing because passion literally pushes you and you can easily build on it without too much pressure from outside. Livingstone, I have a feeling I've taken too much of your time.
No
I hope there is
problem.
no other.
Thank you very much. Actually, we give you room also to say your last remark, but before that,
Okay.
this session was organized courtesy of South Mogirango Scholars Empowerment Program. This is a group of students from different universities who come from that constituency, and they asked us to ask Rosemary to come and talk to them. Before you give us your closing remarks, of course, I wanted to give the chairperson is also here with us to just say something hi and what they do. At least, yes, hi. Hesbon, thank you very much for organizing your colleague and indeed students from all universities in Kenya to listen to what we are doing at Corporate Career Academy. This is the only way we can give back. We don't have money sometimes, but we can give our time, our skills, and our many years of learning. So probably what could you say to us, to how was the session before we give Rosemary to give closing remarks?
Thank you very much, Corporate Career Academy. I'm very privileged today for the session you have conducted with our members. And as I've said, I'm Hesbon Oyag, the chairperson, South Mugrango Scholars Empowerment Organization. This is an organization basically dealing with the youth, scholars, the graduates, and these undergraduates. We have been doing several activities whereby we started with the uniting our members first of all. Then we came up with some objectives to achieve as an organization. So far, we decided that it put our members to get the basic skills that can enable them to cope up with the competitive job market. Right now, we decided to partner with a like-minded organization like Career Corporate Academy so that our members are equipped with the skills apart from the academic certificates. I know in the job market, the academic certificate is not enough, like what Madam Rosemary she has said, that the employer is looking for the attitude, then you are trained to be given a skill. So that is what we are doing, our members to be equipped with a skill, first of all. Then from the skill, they will be able to apply in the job market. I want to appreciate the speaker today. The session has been very interesting, and I wish we continue as our partnership is escalating, that through this training, we shall be able to be somewhere as graduate youths. We don't want to tarmac. We need to be fully packed with the skill. I want to give just a testimony that mostly from many of the universities I know, I'm also a graduate. We usually concentrate on theoretical work. We lack a skill. That's why in the job market, some of us, we end up missing a job. We want to learn a skill. This skill will enable us so that we can fit in the competitive job market. I wish to inform our members that kindly continue subscribing in this channel. We also encourage members to register in our organization, because for you to access these services going forward, you must be a registered member. For our friends from outside South Mogrango constituency, I want to thank you because you requested me to join in this training, and I've seen many of you have joined, and I wish to thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Livingstone, and I hope we are going to work together going forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Hesbon, for this. We really appreciate you for coming and sharing with us. Finally, Rosemary, we just want to get, I don't know if there's, I was giving in room so that we can have some question. In the absence of any, probably what could be your closing remarks?
Okay, I think my closing remark would regardless of the course that you think you're doing, if you do not have the option to shift now, which in most universities you rarely get, there is always hope ahead. But that hope will only happen if you do your research. Whatever course you are doing, take the interest to understand how can it impact in the world of today, how can it impact in the next world. So you do your research and see where it fits in and where it becomes marketable. Add yourself the necessary skills to beef up your papers so that you can be of more use to the society. So don't sit in your cocoon, like Raymond has said, join the real world and do the real work, because that is where you get exposed. That's why you get to know what is happening. Just learning theory in class and passing your exams is not enough. It's going to earn you a first class with no job. So you need to get into the real world and get to know what is happening in the real world and prepare yourself for the real world. But irrespective of the course that you do, I always say every course has somebody who is unemployed and every course has somebody who is high flying. From engineering to law to medicine to BA to B.Ed, all of them have somebody who is unemployed and they have somebody who is high flying. The difference is what you did with yourself during university and how much confidence you have to work with that paper and defend and show that you can actually be accounted to work. Not because you have theory, but because you have learned some practicalities of life that you can actually be able to apply. So do your research, create your CV, recreate it until it gets you to the place that you want to be. Thank you.
Wow, thank you very much, Rosemary, for joining this discussion. And indeed, thank you all the people who have watched to just learn. I believe we have learned one skill or another. Are you a professional out there and you feel there's something young professionals need to learn? Are you a student out there and you feel you need to learn some skills about your career, about your profession? Get in touch with us. We are doing this to ensure that you are able to meet your professional guy, get somebody who can give you guidance. We're also asking the professionals, as part of giving back to society, what we call giving forward. Welcome and support our young ones so that we can also build a society we are able to be proud about. I remember we are told when we are employed, we have around 35 years to work. So let us build the future industry leaders from today so that they can be able to take over the industry from tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching us. Just subscribe to our YouTube channel. Watch for more sessions coming in. Next week, we are getting a very innovative and industrial entrepreneurial professor from USA who will be talking about how to gain skills and how to become self-employed in this world. We'll look forward to inviting you to also attend the session so that we can hear from Professor. I'll not disclose his name now. We'll communicate the date and the time we're going to have this session. Again, we also be giving you some skills, learning, and maybe certification on the skills you require to succeed in the world. Not really in the job market, but to succeed. Generally, we are looking at it. How do we gain skills? How do we gain, especially leadership skills, the career skills to enable you put food on your table? So thank you very much for watching us. We appreciate your coming. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to the next speaker. Rosemary, thank you very much. May God bless you as you do your work. And welcome again to Corporate Career Academy. We look forward to your contribution.
Thank you very much.
Corporate career responsibility is a call to all experts and consultants to give back their time, skills, knowledge, and expertise to mentor and nurture future industry leaders. Are you passionate in nurturing future industry leaders and professionals who will take enterprise to a higher level? Corporate Career Academy, together with Student TV, is giving you an opportunity to share your knowledge, skills, and mentor students and young professionals.